The conflict and compromise of Big Bill Haywood and the IWW labor strikes.
Well then,
dump the bosses off your back. Praise boss when morning work bells chime. Praise him for chunks of overtime. Praise him whose bloody wars we fight. Praise him, great leech and parasite. There's power in a factory, power in the land, power in the hands of the worker. But it all amounts to nothing if together we don't stand.
Big Bill Haywood was the founding member of the IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World. He led strikes to give labor workers rights from 1905 to about 1917. He gave them a voice, and his strikes took place all over the USA. He gave them what they deserved. He wanted to create one big union and fight the American Federation of Labor and fight for rights. After many strikes, he started getting more successful and started winning them. The Haymarket Riot.
Bill Haywood was inspired from previous failed strikes, including the Haymarket Affair of 1886, where in Chicago a riot started and a bomb went off and killed 5 police officers. 8 people were accused after they went to court. It ended in 4 executions, 2 life sentences, and 1 suicide. Many thought it was unfair, including Haywood himself.
Bill Haywood grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. At the young age of 3, he lost his dad. Then, 4 years later, at the age of 7, he lost sight in his left eye due to a slingshot accident. He was a troubling little boy. He would steal food and candy because he didn't have much money growing up as a kid. He dropped out of school at the age of 14 and started mining at the age of 15, but not long after, he had to leave because his hand got crushed in a mining accident. But that wasn't the last they'd see of him. He was mad at the bosses. He was mad because of low pay, long hours, and bad work conditions. He knew he couldn't take them on himself, so he asked labor workers to join and create one big union. Haywood was angry and wanted to strike, but he had noticed something, that everyone wanted to strike and win, but they weren't successful because they were in small groups. So he got the idea to put everyone under one big labor union to strike against their bosses for rights. So in 1905, Haywood founded the Industrial Workers of the World, the IWW. So they went on strike, but the government kept trying to shut them down, but they kept moving forward. Haywood would lead the union with other people, including Eugene V. Debs. They were furious to win rights. Joe Hill, a member of the IWW at that time, said, the despicable way we've been treated is going to end sooner than later.
Bill Haywood led many successful strikes, including the Mesabi strike that took place in Minnesota, but we're going to focus on one of his most famous strikes, the Crippley Creek strike, where he led a long strike lasting 15 months. It almost was like a war, a member said. Another wobbly said it's like a war of words. It started in August 1894 and ended in January 1896.
Bill Haywood was famous for the strike because he was unknown at the time. But he told those workers at Crippley Creek if they believed in him, he would give them the rights that they deserved. As sometimes it felt like they were losing, but they kept believing in him. It was a long argument. They argued back and forth for over a year. He would fight them, and the workers had his back. After a long battle, they were successful. They got their 8-hour work day. They got paid for the amount of hours, and both unskilled and skilled workers got the rights they deserved. After Crippley Creek.
After he won at Crippley Creek, he would go on to win many other strikes and became more known. The government would still try to shut the strikes down after he would win rights for one area. He would go around the U.S. winning rights and gaining publicity around the USA, and others started picking up on his tactics, how to form one big union to fight. Even his unsuccessful strikes were still successful in some ways after others got inspired by him, and before you knew it, labor workers everywhere were winning rights, and the government couldn't stop them. They got what they deserved: rights, hope, and a leader to stand behind.
Overall, Bill Haywood and the IWW strikes left a big impact on history and changed the way labor workers and non-labor workers live today. The IWW would reach a peak of 100,000 members in 1909. It would fold after the First World War and the Great Depression hit. They were more known for how they went on strike than how they won. The IWW still stands today at about 17,000 wobblies, but due to new technology, different jobs have been created, and there have been less and less labor jobs. Even though the IWW won labor workers' rights, they still go on strike to this day. Will they ever stop fighting for rights? I can't tell you that.
To sum up, Bill Haywood and the IWW left a big impact on the world. You probably didn't know who he was until today. That's normal because the IWW had a short 10 years of fame when a lot of other major events were taking place. It's a forgotten part of history that affects us every day. Bill Haywood would get deported for speaking against the World War I. He would go to Russia, where he passed away in 1928. On the day we lost a forgotten hero, William Dudley Haywood, 1869 to 1928. Let him rest in peace. Thank you.
When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. coming with the